Transportation handmade. And I know it better than most people. I don't trust them anyways. You can't break the law with them. Get some good shit, have a calm night. Shooters killing left and right. Working through your worst night. If I get my money right, you know I won't need you. And I tell you, I hope the sack is full up. I'm fucking, no, I'm fucked up. Spend it when I get that. I ain't trying to keep you. Can't keep up a conversation. Can't nobody read you. Why your eyes well up? Did you call me from a seance? You were from my past life. Hope you're doing well, bro. I've been out here head first.
It's Wednesday. Shit. Something is way louder. Oh, it's me. Okay. That should be better. Slightly. Yeah, okay. So, today is the Tech Show. Welcome. Mosh's Tech, episode 16 of season 1. I don't know when the season's going to end. Maybe it's 24 episode season. Lots of tech updates today. We have some cool stuff to look at. We're going to try and find a box live for my gaming PC. So, I guess the first things first. Yesterday on Instagram, I posted a series of pictures and some videos describing got like a weird sound on my headphones. Describing the setup of the Stream PC. The Stream PC is now in a 4U chassis. We're going to take a look at that a little bit. I would love to figure out the best way to do that. I wonder if it involves me pulling down that camera. No, that can't happen. I might take this one off the wall and use that. Actually, I'm going to do that real quick. Give me 2 seconds. That was easy. So, we're going to take a look at the Stream PC. We're going to look at what's inside the box. It is currently running, but I showed a video yesterday of it. I'm very pleased with it. The only thing I'm slightly displeased with is that one of my 120mm fans is not the silent type, so it runs super loud. One of my stipulations, if you remember when I was building this case, this idea, was that they would be completely silent. Because I want it sitting on my desk. Why? Because I need to operate the mixer, which will be the lowest shelf of the rack. I'll show you a drawing that I kind of erased my dry erase board in here and redrew the idea for the rack. So we're going to look at that. We're going to look at purchasing another rack for the gaming PC because this one went quite well. And I'm really happy with that. We're going to need to recalculate, I think, the size of the rack that I'll need. The chassis, I think, is going to need to be 7 or 8U deep, so double this size. Might be able to get away with 6. I just get nervous with 6. The reason for all that, if you missed yesterday, is this. When you're in a chassis, when you're in a case like this, there's an airflow pressure system, right? That's what they put the case on. And the air flows in one way and out the other way. That's kind of what you want it to do. Water coolers that you find at Micro Center or wherever that has the big radiator on the side. You plug the little thing on top of your CPU and then plug the radiator on the side where fans would be. Those don't fit cases like that. Those are larger size fans. Those radiators are big. Oftentimes in chassis like these, they don't have fan vents right next to the CPU. There's a couple in the back and then some in the front. So basically, in order to water cool, I need to order a custom system for it. They do make those. They make water cool systems for servers for 1U even. They make really small ones, which I might think about. So my question that we're going to solve on this show is this. Is it more cost effective to buy a specific water cooler system and then another 4U box, because I won't need the height of the super cooler? Actually, that might be cost ineffective because I already bought the cooler for the Threadripper. No, I mean it was only $50, so it's not that crazy. So we could take a look at that. The other option is we buy a bigger chassis, and then fit the regular size cooler in it, the normal size AMD Threadripper cooler. Those things require a little bit larger of a cooler. There's no such thing as a small form factor cooler for a TR4 socket. That TR4 is the Threadripper series. That's the 1950X, the 2990X, the 2950X. 2990 is the top of the line right now in terms of AMD processing power. That thing requires an enormous cooling system. And the guy at Microsoft was explaining that most people that buy that are water cooling it. So it's not going into a gaming PC, it's going into a gaming case, not a chassis like this. So I need to navigate what the best path is. We're going to take a look at cost-wise, what is the best path. We'll take a look at a little bit at the setup. I got the mixer sitting on top, but you kind of start to get the idea over here of this. I also would like to take a look at, we talked before about an edge lit glass solution for the rack. Now, when you see the chassis, you'll see it just looks like a piece of sheet metal box. Those are going to have rails on it, and they're going to slide into a rack that I'm going to buy. The whole idea, the whole proof of concept, my whole 500 steps to get to where I want to go with the streaming as a service organization is building this chassis, and one of them includes a rack that houses everything. Okay, now that I have to maybe increase the size of the second chassis, increase the size of the gaming PC, I need to rethink the rack size. Before I was thinking 4U. If I have to up the size of the chassis 4U, or I was thinking 12U. Now that I have to up the size of the chassis, possibly 12U is no longer going to work. Because you think I got 4 here, right? I got 4 in one box. The mixer on a shelf is going to need at least 3. It might be 4. I'm looking at the size of the cords here. Clearance of space, by the way, is what I mean. I'm just buying a shelf for that. Then I'll need maybe a 6U, maybe an 8U on top. If it's 8, now we're talking 15U size rack. And then we start to discuss, is it even going to fit on my desk? Now we're starting to talk about other areas, desk space, maybe something behind me. Maybe now we drop the green screen. Now we have a DSLR camera. There's a lot of moving parts here. I would love to have it right here on the desk. I just don't know how it's going to work with the lamp. The solution here might be to put the lamp mounted up in the corners instead of on their stands, because they could get about 2 more feet up, angled down, and might come over the rack a little bit. I don't know what the best solution is. Anyways, this whole idea of the rack system started from that idea, as I said, streaming as a service, is I'm trying to proof a concept, an idea that I could put a set of hardware into a box. All inclusive. Take it to someone's house, set it down on their desk. Internet willing. They have to have reasonable internet. Plug, click on, now you're streaming. Then you start to say you can sell a service of streaming to someone. My box, I sell it to you. You use it, you lease the box. So It's an idea that we kind of came up with it on the show many months ago. It took me forever to sort out the rack box, the chassis. Finally, I just had to go for it and bought something, and we put it together yesterday. We're going to take another look at this. We're going to talk a little bit about TwitchCon. I'm leaving tomorrow morning. Just some of the stuff I'm bringing. If we have any plans so far, things like that. I don't know if there's any other sort of pressing tech issues. Still kind of mad that Micro Center doesn't have my keyboard. Okay, I think that's it. Let's take a look, huh? Okay, we're not taking a look at BattleNet today, but we want to come to this screen so I can turn on one of the cameras. I believe it's this one. That's good enough. Let's try this one. There we go. Okay. This is going to be a little bit of a shaky cam because I'm doing it handheld today. But I'll give you an idea of what we're looking at, okay? So normally this camera is up there. Up on the wall there. That little platform is where it sits. This is the setup at the moment. Okay? You see that the mixer is sitting on top, and that big box is now the stream PC. Now that came from a regular type case. A small case, cheap case, a carbide series, like 507, I think, something like that. And now this is it. It comes with a door that can flip up. You can lock it. No big deal. It has, on the inside, is a bit of a dust filter on the inside of there. I have it open because the buttons to turn it on are right here. There's an on, a reset, a couple of USBs, and a lot of those buttons are for like NAS services. So if you have a bunch of disk drives in there, they'll show operations of those. This right here I showed on my Instagram yesterday. That is the Arctic cooler fan. You can barely hear it. This guy over there on the other side is not an Arctic fan. It is not a silent fan. It is quite noticeably louder. And I didn't want that happening into the mic today, so I'm running it with only one intake fan today. I've unplugged the other one. I don't think that's a big deal just for the stream today. The system goes off as soon as the stream is done, and it'll be off until next Monday when I'm back home. At that point, I'm hoping my fans will be delivered. They'll be here waiting for me, so I can plug that in. The mixer is sitting on top. In the idea of the rack system, oh, you see my Mega Millions ticket? We didn't win. Sorry, guys. Jerks. I thought for sure I was gonna win that. The mixer here, you can see how full it is. I always talk about how I might need a new mixer. You can see every single channel is full. Every channel. In the rack system, this will be sitting on the bottom. It will be on a shelf that pulls out. I'll be able to operate it here like this, turn some knobs, whatever, right here. The idea is that it'll slide just a little bit. I'll probably move my mic back about a foot to give that clearance. But it is important to me that the mixer be included into the rack. As I said, streaming as a service, all-in-one solution. That's what I want. We talked ad nauseum about the mixer, so I'm not going to go through what all the connections do. But if you have questions about mixers, feel free to ask, and I will help. Let's take a look inside the box if we can. I'm going to just put that down for a second. Let me alter some stuff here. See if I can slide this just a bit. We can take a peek. I purposely left it loose today. Let's see if I can get some clearance here. Stuff in it at the moment. Okay, I'm just going to take the top off so you guys can see. Let me adjust a little bit. Some lighting. I showed this a bit on the Instagram yesterday, but we can look at it live today. Okay. Okay, we got this. The case top is off now, so you can see what's happening in there. Maybe. These 4 fans are 80 millimeter Arctic F8 silent fans. They're fantastic. The case I bought had this artificial wall put in. You can take that wall out if you want, if you have big motherboards or a lot of GPUs you want to put in. But I took those out and linked I kind of daisy chained the fans together and then plugged them into the motherboard for power. That's no big deal. You could see that the system is relatively simple. Why? I'm going to set this down for just a moment. So the reason for that is that it's just a streaming PC. It doesn't do much. All it does is run OBS and Boom and Streamlabs. That's pretty much it. It's the only thing that's on it. So I don't need things like an optical drive. I don't need sound cards. I don't need extra USB drives, any of that stuff. So this is the most simple the PCs get for the power that it is. You can see the 4.6 RAM. That's 32 gigs of RAM at 2400 megahertz. I have the big new cooler on there. That's the Noctua US9, something like that. It's pretty silent. I have it in silent mode, actually. We have a 650 watt power supply, which is more than enough. 2 Arctic 80 millimeter fans in the back. The GTX 1080 there for encoding. And then if you look down there, I'm not going to point to it, but you can see a little piece just beyond that MSI shroud there. That is an what's it, an M2, M5? I forget what they're called. M2. I always think M5. I don't know why. That's an M2 drive. That's 200 gigs, something like that. It looks like a face. That's what my friend said. So it looks like a Qbert face. That's an Evo 960, I think. Yeah, 960 Evo M2 drive. That's my hard drive. That thing that's taped or screwed down to the motherboard. That's all it is. It's so convenient. If you guys have a chance to get an M2 drive, I highly suggest it. There's no more annoying extra mounts you got to put an SSD in. SSDs are, first of all, are fantastic. But there's no huge, 5-inch drives you got to slide in, the regular hard disk drives. M2 drives screw right down to the motherboard. They plug into a slot, you screw the other side, that's the end of it. There's nothing else involved. You'll notice here that in the front, this is going to flip upside down, so it might be a little confusing. Let me let it focus for a second. In the front where all these cables are, if you take a look in there, that's where hard drives go. That whole thing, you can slot like 5 or 6 hard drives in there. There are 0. How am I running the system? M2 drive. That's it. Small M2. Because my system does not run a lot of stuff on it, there's no games, there's no nothing, there's no movies. It's just OBS. It's just a quick, small M2 drive. No big deal. Couple of power links here for the usual front panel stuff, and that's it. No big deal. You can even see my power supply is pretty blank. There's not a lot of stuff plugged into it. There's the GPU, there's the motherboard, the end. And I have an extra cable for the fans. That's all. That's that extra cable right there, that black one that plugs into the white thing. That's it. Super simple. So it's funny, while it looks complicated, when I start talking about chassis and rack mounts, it sounds hard. It sounds complicated. Sounds really techy. If you think about this case as just a regular computer case laying on its side, this case right here, this huge thing, I'm sorry, it's still not focusing because it's the light is making it weird. Hang on a second. There we go. This case right here costs $90. That's on the low end of gaming cases you can buy. If you go buy a case that says, this is a gaming case from Micro Center, from wherever, Micro Center has the best deals. You go buy a case from anywhere, $90 is going to get you a middle range case. It's not going to get you one of the high end ones. You start talking about glass or plexiglass, those see-through ones, which are super fancy to look at, $200, $300, $400. Okay? $90 on this guy. And the shipping was free because it was on Amazon. Really good case. I'm really pleased. It's a little bare bones. There's not a lot of flash to it. But you're talking about a chassis that slides into a rack that you're never going to see again. The only time you're going to see it is when you pull it out, replace a part. That's it. And by the way, replacing a part in something like this, oh man. Look how much space it is. You're not fighting for anything. The graphics card's not pushing up against anything. Tons of space. Super easy to expand and fix and replace parts. I love it. Yeah, let me put it. So the other thing I was thinking before, we were talking about doing some designs. I was talking about with the guys that make this case, saying, hey, do you guys have anyone that comes in and say they want a custom case? Something that's maybe a spray painted? Something like a car detailed, something like that. The guy basically said, no, we don't do that kind of stuff. But he's had a friend that did it, and they took it to an auto body shop. And I completely blanked on that. Didn't even think about that. Those guys at the custom auto body shops, custom art shops for your cars and stuff, for like Fast and Furious cars, those guys paint on this stuff all the time. I'm banging on the lid, by the way. This is what they do. They paint on sheet metal, so or pieces of metal. So it only makes sense that I bet you if I take this into that shop and say, here's the design I want it done on that. Can you do it? Yup, done. Whatever X cost it is to do something this small, it's probably not too much. But I could easily have this case painted in terms of the top part. So I could have some cool design, maybe the Hero Squad emblem, something on top. Might be kind of neat for like a kind of a flashy just side project. I'm not artistic enough to do it. I will take them in outline of how to make it look, but that's it. Also, the Hero Squad emblem that we have on this page is it's large and a little bit bulky. It's like blocky, so it's not a lot of intricate detail. I bet you it's super easy to spray paint. Or even if someone's good, with a paintbrush, steady hand or something, it would probably be easy. However it goes for painting metal, I don't know. So that's what I'm thinking I might do with the rack mounts, is paint the top of the case. So when I slide them out, there's like some kind of cool Hero Squad thing or Mosh thing. So that's it. As complicated as it sounds, when I say I'm taking my Stream PC apart and putting it in a 4U chassis, those words can be daunting. It is really simple. It just takes some time. And obviously, it's not as pretty necessarily as a gaming rig, but then you start talking about what are you putting inside of? Are you putting it inside a rack, etc.? Have you ever had the click of death? What is the click of death? Is that a, like on a Mac where you click and the thing just spins for 10 hours? On a hard drive? No. I have not. Like when your hard drive just kills itself? I've been pretty fortunate with my hard drives, actually. I have, in my gaming PC, which, by the way, we didn't do the build of the Stream PC live for a very good reason, because I could not be live while doing that thing. Taking the Stream PC apart would require me to not be streaming, obviously. You might say, well, why don't you just stream from your gaming PC? There's a lot of shit that goes into the show that's all linked to the Stream PC, so it would actually take an enormous amount of time to unhook everything, rehook it up to the game PC just to stream that, when I could just say, we're not going to stream that live, I'll post stuff on Instagram. Next time, when I get the new chassis and we do the gaming PC boxing, I will be streaming that. So we'll get this, and that one has a lot more interesting parts. There's like 3 or 4 hard drives. There's 4 hard drives. There's, yeah, the big card, the new cooler will be in. We got a bunch of big systems will go into that one. So that one will be cool to watch. The hard drive is clicking and won't read. It's so bloody annoying. I know that a lot of hard drive companies will troubleshoot for you. So if you go to like Western Digital or Seagate, which are probably the 2 most famous hard disk manufacturers, they have a pretty good support system. But a lot of times, what they're going to say is, that shit is so fucking cheap, just go buy a new one. If you lost really, really important stuff, that sucks. But a lot of times, the really, really important stuff you can back up online. Like, I wipe my hard drives whenever I want. One of our hard drives just stores movies. It's our media server. And another of the big hard drives just stores games, which you can re-download online. The drive is 6 years old. I didn't realize it was that old. It's just more of my Twitch artwork. Ah. Damn. Yeah. I mean, when you start up again, I would suggest like pushing it to Google Drive or something to back up. But it's possible that you could get something like this. Let me show you something. Put this case back in. I'll show you something. Let me get all my audio stuff back up on here. Ugh. Mixer's so ridiculous. One sec. Okay, check this out. This may not be a solution that works for you, but it has worked for me in the past. Sometimes hard drive connection to the motherboard just gets a little messed up, okay? Sometimes disconnecting it and pulling it out of there and trying a different shroud, which just means case around it, or a different setup, different computer sometimes can help. Check this out. If you take out your hard drive, it looks just like this, I assume. It's not an SSD, otherwise it wouldn't be clicking. This is a Seagate 3 terabyte. This is an external hard drive loader, okay? It loads by USB. Plugs in the back through a USB 3. Yeah, USB 3 into your computer. And then here's the power, and that's it. It sits on your desk. And when you want to test a hard drive, that's it. Slide it in like that. See if it'll link through USB. You may be able to get it back at least long enough to pull some data off it. If not, you could take it to a shop, but a lot of times they're going to gouge you on shit like that because that... Oh, you've got one of those. Okay, perfect. Yeah, I would try that if you got it. I bought this a while ago just for that purpose. It has seem to be broken. Oh, yeah, I don't think you can solve that, unfortunately. But either way, you could take it to a shop, and they might have some different tools, because I'm not a repairman at all. You could take it to a shop, they might be able to do something, but they're going to gouge you on price for that. You have to match the serial number, so annoying. Oh my god, yeah, that sounds terrible. But yeah, if you take it to a shop, they're going to charge a bunch of money, because that's what, you know, like... you know, and not trying to be stereotypical, but like senior citizens or something that aren't great with computers, a lot of times a hard drive be broke, they'll take it in someplace like Best Buy, and they'll charge a ton. It's about £1 a megabyte. Jesus. That's ridiculous. So, I mean, but they kill people on that, because they think all their data is the most precious thing in the world. It's almost easier just to start again and just say, lesson learned. You know, buy a new drive, kind of. 2 terabyte drive? Yeah, don't pay that, please. Oh, God. That really sucks. You lost all that data. That's terrible. But yeah, I would say just get a new one and start again, kind of. Maybe you might have some recent stuff saved on your computer. I know a lot of the editing programs have like a open recent or something where they save like a cached version of things. Anyways, this is a pretty good tool. I love this thing. It's one of those things you just have it in an emergency just in case, or family comes over, my hard drive doesn't work. Click, check it out. Okay, let me put this back in. Okay. Adobe might have that. Yeah, they might. Adobe often has those open recent cached sections where you can open something up. Maybe it just saved a version of it in temporary files or something like that. It's possible. Anyways, that's the case. That's the chassis. I'm super happy about it. I made a post yesterday on Twitter, and I realized it's a little cryptic, but basically, the coming together of the first chassis is really kind of a groundbreaking milestone. Oh, thank you. Hey, Bananas. What's up, buddy? So, oh yeah, I'm sorry. The camera's still on, so you can just kind of see this stuff. But yeah, that's the bad boy right there. The coming together of that box is really significant to me because it represents the first step of a billion steps to get to where I want to go. So, you know what they always say, taking the first step is always the hardest part, and there's procrastination and stuff. And you guys remember on the show, I've been talking about this rack idea for months. The chassis for months. I'm looking at these different guys. I talked to 3 different vendors, going back and forth on email, trying to find the right one. And then finally I'm like, you know what? It's never going to get done unless I just buy it. I just got to do it. So I just put it out there, grabbed the thing, and started down this road. And now it's up and working good. I need to buy the rails for it, but we're going to do the gaming PC next. Then we're going to do the rack. Then we're going to steamroll this shit into a product, and it's going to be awesome. I'm super excited, obviously. I'm excited to tell everyone at TwitchCon about it. Okay, let's talk about the gaming rig. This one is going to be a little tougher to solve. Here's why. When I go look at the right cooler, the cooler I just bought is a Master Cooler TR4 socket mount. So the one I have, I believe, is this guy. Let me see here. Is that the right price? 50 bucks? Yeah, that's about right. Okay. So this is the one I just bought. Okay? That's the cooler. It's big. It's like 160 millimeters. We can probably find the dimensions on here. Heatsink dimensions, 158 millimeters high. Now that becomes a problem. A 4U rack is 155 millimeters. Now you might be thinking, well, 150 whatever is less than that. Oh, this is 158, so that's not any less. Even if you went to 5U. But you have to remember there's an offset. The top of the case has a thickness. Some X number of millimeters, maybe 5 millimeters, 10 millimeters. That's the top and the bottom. Then you have the post that the motherboard sits on. Now you're talking about another 5 millimeters maybe. Then you got the motherboard, that's another 2 millimeters. Then you got the chip that sits on top of that. That's maybe another 10 millimeters. You're subtracting space to where that heatsink needs to sit on top. If any of the heat, the heat sinks that are tower coolers are just vertical ones like this, they often have little spokes that come out the top. You see these little gray things at the top here. They can't be touching the top of the case. That's an electrical induction issue. That's a heat issue. That can't happen. So there needs to be a little bit of clearance. It can be close. There just needs to be clearance. Also, a lot of the times those are metal too, which is a real nightmare. You can't be doing that. So, unfortunately, to cool an AMD Threadripper and above, because I won't be going to anything else, now that I'm on the Threadripper at the 1950X, the next one I'll buy will be the 2990X. I'll let the price come down a little bit. I'm not paying $1,800 for a CPU. But the fans I need aren't going to get smaller, is what I'm trying to say. So I need to think about expanding in the future because, as I have said before, I want this to be as modular as possible. If I'm selling this as a service, I don't want to sell someone a case and then go, oh, something's wrong. Well, we could upgrade it for another 10 bucks a month. We're going to put in some new stuff, but I'm going to need to replace all the case and the motherboard and all that stuff. I don't want to do that. You may have to at some point when you replace chipsets, replace the motherboard. That's fine, but I want to keep the case the same. A 4U will be fine for a streaming box. Streaming box can run just fine on my i7 6700 right now. That's what's in there. It just streams. It just encodes. That's it. When we start talking about gaming and doing a little more high-end stuff, then you're like, we need a higher chip. We need a bigger cooler. That's going to push out of the 4U. For now, the 4U is fine. It may be that in the long future, we try to stream in 4K or something like that. Everyone has super reliable internet, all that shit. We may have to upgrade this case, but again, modular design, that's not the end of the world. I'll send, with the streaming the service, I send the tech out to your house. They bring the box with them. They install, they pull out the old box, we take it home. That's the good part about the rack, and that's why I need a little bit of clearance in the rack build. I need 3-4U clearance, just in case that something happens. We got to jump up that U height. We could slide in a new one. Ideally, if you were to subscribe to the business model, which is not a business yet, by the way, it's just an idea I've had for a long time. You're paying an X amount of money per month to have streaming gear, the highest end streaming gear there is. When we need to replace something, and I need a tech to come out, that's already included in the cost. Tech comes out to the house with the box. They go to your house, they look at the rack, unplug a couple of things, pull the rack out, slide the new one right in, plug, you're up and running in 2 minutes. Queen, yeah, no problem. I'll talk to you later. Thank you so much for hanging out. And absolutely, I'm always happy to help, especially with tech stuff. So that's the idea of the modular design. So I need a little bit of clearance on the rack. The problem is this height. I'm guessing. Let me see what type of cooler you need for an AMD Threadripper. Let's spec it for the 2990X. This is the highest end guy they have right now. Yeah, this is the top of the line guy. When you're talking about multi-threading, this is the top of the line guy. Nothing beats it. Air cooler. That's what I want to find. What cooler can fit on that guy? Because that guy's nuts. You could see here, there's a lot of solutions. If you're looking, well, you want to cool the AMD Threadripper, you need to get one of these Thermaltake H100s or H200s or whatever it is with the 3 fans there. Does not fit in a case. Does not fit in a chassis. I need to get a custom chassis that basically cuts a hole out of it. And you can't do that in a chassis. Why? Because of positive air pressure. Pressure needs to flow through the system a certain way. This is why you can't have the top off a chassis. Because the air needs to come through in a certain fashion to properly cool the whole system. As I said at the top of the show, the discussion would be between an air-cooled and a larger chassis, or a custom water-cooled system, which was still at the 4U chassis. It's a discussion to have. I'm trying to take a look at what is the cooler. Was it Master Cooler? The guys at Micro Center showed me a website that listed like all these coolers and which one worked with which CPU. I wonder. Hang on a second. What CPU are going to cool? Right now I'm trying to cool my AMD Threadripper 1950X. I have a brand new cooler on it, working beautifully. You can see here on my hardware monitor, we're talking about 45 Celsius right now. Really low. By the way, before I replaced the cooler, 88 degrees Celsius. Almost doubled that. It was hot because my cooler had failed. Now we're sitting pretty at 44. Threadrippers for the gaming rig. So the question, the debate, is whether or not I go deeper on the U, a higher box for the gaming rig, and put in the air cooler I have right now, or do we go custom water cooler, put that on the Threadrippers, get those all cooled, and have it at the 4U box. It's going to be a difference of cost, is what I think we're going to come down to here. How much money do I really want to pay for it? The most important thing to me is that the solution is right. That's the most important thing. So if we go to CPU air cooler, let's take a look. These master coolers are what I did for the TR4 socket. You can see here the Master Air TR4. There's a rating on some of these. The guy at the store was talking about the... yeah, this is the fan that I have. It's just not in RGB form. Yeah, exact fitting base for TR4 SP3 ensures the AMD Threadripper CPU has optimal surface contact. So you need a TR4 socket cooler in order to cool the Threadrippers. I've seen both Ryzen 7 and Intel outperform Threadrippers for gaming. Yes, but it's at an amount that is... it's not... I don't think... you could get the same performance out of a less chip, for sure. We can actually go look at that. I don't know if these specify gaming. But if you go on the high-end CPU charts, it's the new Xeon Platinum chip, and then like 3 down is AMD Threadripper 2950, which is outperforming the 2990, which is kind of interesting. And the 2950 is like $900 less. Ideally, what I want to plan for is cooling that, the 2950. But I think that's just a TR4 socket as well, so the cooler will still work on each. Xeon competitor for AMD, right? They had raw horsepower in mind, not gaming and speed performance. Well, it's all about multi-threading for them. So if you're doing like a lot of stuff at once, it's a good idea. Because I'm doing NDI as well, there is some level of a slight encoding process when you're talking about downscaling before you send NDI over to the encoding box. So It's not like my computer's not running in a vacuum where it's just gaming. I'm not saying that Threadripper is required to operate anything on my system. The Threadripper is supreme overkill, and I always say that. But it's also not like all I'm doing is playing a game. I got things. I'm watching videos. I'm watching people stream. I'm I might be doing some no kill like overkill, right? Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's not necessarily like I'm just gaming. I totally agree that if you were just gaming, and by the way, if you're looking to do a system like this, or you have a dual stream PC, there's no reason to have a Threadripper. Threadripper is for if you want to stream and game on the same PC. That's what that shit is made for. I went with it because I'm a maniac and I like technology. Basically, is why I have it. But it also doesn't hurt the fact that I have 4 different screens. I'm operating a bunch of different things at the same time. It's good for that stuff as well. So what I want to do, it's made for the AMD TR4 socket. Now there was something on here. There's some kind of rating that the guy was showing me at Micro Center. Where you could like confirm. I'm trying to see what cooler they suggest for the Threadripper 2. Air cooling and its limits. Okay, custom loop, chiller, LN2, air. Precision boost overdrive clock rate versus the package power versus temperature. No matter what the answer is, the like minimum height for a cooler like that is going to be like 160 millimeters. So what if we switch gears? Let's say rack mount server cooler. Let's see what they say. There was a website the guy suggested there, and I forget what the hell he said. It was a company that makes a custom water-cooled solution for small boxes like that. He called it For You Chassis Water Cooler. Let me see. Server chassis supports water cooling. Coolants. That's not it. Coolit systems. I don't think none of these sound right. It was something that started with an A. This is the one I looked at yesterday. Damn it. So yeah, these are cooling blades. That's not what I want. I want something that it looks exactly like this. So you see on this water cooler system comes in and just sits like kind of low form down on the CPU, and then the tubes run out the side. I need to know where those go and how much extra server space I need to do this. Because this is for a rack of like 50 blades. This is for high-end enterprise cooling, which is certainly far from what I'm trying to do. I just want to see the price of something like that. These guys, unfortunately, these companies are the kind where when I email them asking, they're like, oh, we only operate on a scale of like, 50 million units or something like that. I saw your Twitch name on Pornhub? Did you? Am I a star of a movie on there? What's it called? I need a porno name for a tech show. Someone get on it. Water cooled, capable 3U or 4U. So probably not with the radiators is what he's asking. Following this guy, maybe this is my solution. Go with a good name, man. We'll make that the title of the show today. Wow, look at that clear PC. Ooh, daddy. Wait a minute. What the hell is this? What goes in here? It looks pretty, but that doesn't make any sense. There's no mounting for anything like that. It's going to sound crazy, but I've been looking for some sort of rack mount 3U or 4U chassis to mount a standard ATX motherboard into and be able to use the 240mm or 360mm radiator in it with water cooling. Yeah, you can't do that. There's no chassis, standard chassis that'll support that. Damn it! I wish I remember what the hell the name of that company was. Shoot. Silent water cooling system. Idiot proof and work in a 4U rack. Coolant Exos. But if you want, you want idiot proof. Silent, it probably isn't. I suggest checking out the procooling.com forums. Okay. I build my own PC. I use GeForce on my PC. Awesome. The GTX cards, GT Rose. Those are good cards. I have a 1080 Ti in this box right now. In one of these boxes. The other one's 1080. He said look at the forums. Okay, let's take a look. You know what's funny about all this is my parents live, and I grew up next to a company called Frozen CPU. These guys make custom stuff. And I'm wondering if I can actually order something through them. I used to have I have a good friend that used to work there. I wonder if they do a case, a mounting, a cooling system like that. I bet they do. Yeah, nice. What card do you have, GT Rose? Do you have a 1080 something? I know the prices came down since the 2080s have been released last month. So you might be able to get a good deal too if you're looking to upgrade. Which, by the way, since the general tech show, and I just got reminded last night by my aunt. My aunt was asking me if she should get an iPad, where she should go to get an iPad. And is an iPad user-friendly? Everyone that watches the show has iPads and things like that and tablets. Obviously, iPads are really popular because they are the most user-friendly. But I believe I saw that there's going to be a release at the end of this month, actually in like a week, about a new line of iPads coming out. So you're going to be able to get an iPad a little bit cheaper soon. If you're looking for like the Air 2s or whatever the new iPads are. Bet you'll get a little bit cheaper. No iPad here? What are you using? I don't own any Apple product. Neither do I. My wife loves her iPad, and my daughter loves her iPad. I have a Microsoft Surface Pro, which I like. She should get a MacBook. I agree that she probably should, but I mean, she's older, and they just like travel and sit on the beach and play games and stuff. And she's not interested in a keyboard. She wants something to tap on and look at Facebook. So iPad is probably the easiest, the most user-friendly thing that you could do. So a coolant brand, I don't give a shit about coolant brands. I need something that fits. Oh, here's Coolants. What are these? Oh, okay, that's for a rack server. Liquid cooling safety. PC water cooling pumps? Is that for a stand-up? Maybe I'll send these guys a little email. A friend of mine used to work here. I wonder if he has contacts. But this place, Frozen CPU, is like 10 minutes away from where I grew up. It's in Rochester. I remember when I was growing up, I always wanted a really custom PC, and they had cool cases. And one of the things I saw was a wood case that they were selling, and I was obsessed with it. It was a wooden. Let me see if they still have it. Somehow I doubt it. It's probably super old. Oh, they have Silverstone cases. That's the company I talked to. That I went through like 3 rounds of emails, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we can't do that." But they had some really neat cases when I was younger out here. Let's hope it doesn't thaw. Hey-o! These are full tower. Yeah, these are just tower gaming PCs. Okay. I'm gonna get at these guys tonight, see what they say. Because that might be super... Good call. I wish my brother was in the chat right now, because he knows the guy. It's his best friend that used to work here. Oh my god, they have silencers for all this stuff? Like putting it on a gun? A silencer for a power supply? What? Look at all this stuff. Oh my god, I'm about to spend $50,000 at this store. Ultra quiet fans of the Arctics. You can't beat them, man. Can't beat them. I guess they make a lot of noise. Or silent fans. The good thing is that this being in a chassis, I don't care about flash. I don't care about RGB inside the case. You can't see it. Heat shrink. Oh, those are sleeving for cables. Okay, I'm gonna have to. I'll send these guys an email. I won't waste our time here. Let's take a look at racks though, because we are gonna need a bigger rack solution, obviously. Maybe not. I'm sorry. Maybe not a bigger rack solution. We could get away with 4U if we go with that liquid cooling. So we'll see what they say. But just in case, we have to go up. Now we're talking about 4 with an. Let's say we'll talk about 4 and then a 6. That's 10. I want 3 or 4 clearance for the mixer with a sliding drawer. Ooh, we should get a sliding drawer on order here. Let me see. Rack mount shelf is what I want. Rising, sliding, fixed. Rack. How are those words together? Rising, sliding, fixed. What? those do not go together, sir. What the hell? So it's just okay. This is what I want. Is it's on casters. I want it to slide. So basically, my mixer's gonna sit on that, and when I'm ready for the show, I just pull it out. And when I'm done with the show, push it back in. That's it. Plus, the good thing about the shelf is that it'll be deep as the rack, pretty much. So that in the back, I can put things like the cloud lifter for the mixer that you guys have seen, that I use for the mic. And a couple other things. The switch for the NDI could be sitting on that shelf. It's just more stuff we can contain inside the box, the better. The problem with ordering the shelf now, I guess, is that I don't have a rack yet. Because I don't know what size I need the rack to be. Because I need to figure out the cooling system for the gaming PC. I have a I have many issues. Okay. Let's stop there for a minute. Do we need to order new coolers? Let me think. I'll need to order probably 6 more of the silent 80 millimeters. I don't think I need any more of the 120s, because if I order this case again, I'm going to pull one out of the other gaming machine. So I'll have 2 and 2. Should be enough. So I just need more of the 80 millis. I'm going to go over here with this guy. Just so I can reorder my stuff. You don't have to look at all the browsing history and all that shit. I did order a fan splitter on the suggestion of Skiwi, so that was a great suggestion. I want to buy this again in order of 6 of the F8 fans, please. Is that 6? Six of Arctic for a total of $48. Okay, yeah. That's what I want. Oh, I gotta sneeze. Okay. We got those in order, no big deal. Oh, the other thing I wanted to do is reorder my network equipment, but that's something that you can't really show on the show. I gotta empty out a little bit of a sliding case that I have here. Let's talk a little bit about, so we finish up the case talk a little bit about the rack. I'm going to leave Frozen CPU up, and I'm going to talk to these guys about some solutions. I'll leave that up on the side here so I don't forget. What else? We solved all the issues, by the way, with the any of the stream dropping on in terms of encoding process. What was happening? I was playing Magic. Is if you remember, you're watching some episodes. The basically the CPU was overheating and it was downgrading the speed of everything. So if you see here on the CPU hardware monitor that I have, I'm running it about 4 megahertz. Or 4 gigs, 3.6 gigs on the processor. When it was overheating, it was down to like 300 megahertz. Okay, that's quite a speed reduction, which is why you see some chop on the stream, because I'm using NDI and I have to encode on this side and then pass over there. So the encoding on this side was getting a little crunched because of that. Now that that's solved, man, the stream yesterday looked beautiful. Not a hitch. It looked great. So obviously the cooler has been my problem for quite some time. So that's fixed. We did that. Let me see. What else do we have to do? That's it. Let's talk TwitchCon. As usual, if you have questions as we go here, feel free. I was talking about the placement of the rack, though, before TwitchCon. It's possible that this rack grows too big. We'll see what Frozen says, and I have to move it. When I do, what's going to happen is the green screen is going to drop, I think. We're going to pull that down, and we're going to switch to a background stream. I may have to buy a new DSLR camera, get that Elgato Cam Link and work it like that, although a lot of the DSLR cameras come with built-in software where you can preview a video stream. So I could just do it like that and skip the Elgato thing. That's something that I would need to plan more in depth. I need to get some things in the background. I want to make it look pretty. I don't do anything half-ass on this show. Yeah, that's what we'd have to do. Okay. TwitchCon. If you didn't see it yet, I have chips. I have things to give away at TwitchCon. One of them are these cards. If you see me at TwitchCon, come get a card. I got one just for you, baby. I also have these bad boys. Special nuclear codes inside of this box. Heavy duty box, comes with a handle. I'm going to get a little handcuff on it, too, to make it look more serious. What's inside the box? Chips. Bar chips. They're pretty heavy. Poker chips. They're clay composite chips that I had made for the bar. They have the hashtag on them. We're going to pass them out at TwitchCon. So if you are there, come get one from me. They're beautiful. Tomorrow, I leave in the morning. There will be no more streams until next Tuesday. Will probably be the first stream back. On that show, we'll recap everything that happened. We're at TwitchCon, talk about some cool stuff. But if you are at TwitchCon, here's the deal. We're going to talk about it live. When I arrive tomorrow, I'll get there in the morning. Actually, I need to call the hotel, see if I can check in early, at least drop my bag. When I arrive, will be like noon, I think. Maybe 1 o'clock, something like that. Time zones, I don't know. There is a party for Twitchkins that is happening from like 5 to 7 at this place called Level Up. It's an arcade that has a bar. That place happens to have the only Total Annihilation machine in all of San Jose. So, knowing that some of my friends are coming, namely Garrett and Frump, are pinball enthusiasts like myself, we're going to play some TNA. So we're going to go down there and do like an early sort of just stepped off the plane meetup once everyone lands. So I think a couple of people get in 7, 8 o'clock. That Twitch Kittens party is a private party, so we can't really get into that. But the bar opens back up at 7 after the party. I contacted the establishment owner to ask. And so yeah, it's a closed party until 7. Open up at 7. The bar crew, friends of this show, friends of mine, everyone's welcome down there to join us. Sort of like a meet and greet when you first land. Day before the show starts kind of thing. Be having some drinks, playing pinball. It'll be sweet. If you're in the area, Level Up Arcade, 7 o'clock. Do not hog that TNA machine. I will throw you off it. There may be some live streams over there. I did get the new phone. I have the Google Pixel 3, so we'll try some live streaming while we're out. Obviously, live streaming is a little bit weird with broadcasters because a lot of broadcasters have a persona that they like to do on their show. I personally don't. I'm kind of the same in real life as I am on the show. But there are some broadcasters that go into a whole persona, and that's a protected thing for them, and I totally understand. So I'm not going to be broadcasting anyone, probably in like a big... I'm not broadcasting from TwitchCon. I'm not going to be broadcasting while we're at any of the parties or anything. But if we're eating dinner or something and having a chat with friends, I may do it then if they're cool with it. But certainly not any unwarranted live streaming. That's just bad business. Level Up Arcade? Yeah, I think it's Level Up Arcade. It's just called Level Up from what I saw. It's called The Level Up, maybe? Looks like that. So they have pub food and all that stuff, and that's pretty much it. But they're open till 11, and we are allowed to get in at 7. So, going to try out your Tekken skills there, you will 100% get wrecked. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? I'm the best. Best in the world. They don't list what games they have here. That's weird. But they have some X number of pinball machines. If I go to Pinball Map, which is a site that kind of lists all the machines, and I go to California. I think it's the coast. I don't really know California. We go to city. We go to San Jose. Nope, that was wrong. It is Central. Central Valley. Oh, wait. What? I don't know what's what. Let me just try typing it in. How do you find anything? How did I do this before? I just go to home. Can I just type in? Can I just click on California? So I want to go location. San Jose. Can I do that? What the hell? I went here before. Did I just happen to pick the right one? Is it Bay Area? It is Bay Area. Okay. Who the hell knows the layout of California? Places are weird. Anyways, so they have a bunch of... They list... Basically, Pinball Map lists all the pinball machines that are at different places in any area, which is pretty sweet. What we're looking for is Total Annihilation or Dialed In. Those are the best games, in my opinion. Or Deadpool is pretty dope, too. So if we take a look down, I thought there was a level up thing on here. No? Where did I see it? Oh, it's not in San Jose. It's in, like, Campbell? Maybe that's what it is. Yeah. Yeah, there it is. Okay. Campbell Level Up has Iron Maiden, which is sweet. Lord of the Rings is sweet. Medieval Madness is sweet. Total Annihilation is the greatest pinball game. Look at all those freaking pinball games. They're so dope. So I'm excited to get there and play those. We get there and that machine's out of business or out of order, we're going to have a problem. But this is where we'll be. Tomorrow, 7 p.m. on the East Coast time. Or West Coast time. Playing this game. Probably a little bit of this game. Iron Maiden is really fun. Anyways, so that's Thursday. Friday is the show. We go to all the stuff. We got a lot of panels to look at. I have a lot of friends that are doing panels, which I'd love to attend. There's probably really good information there to learn and to sort of, as a streamer, figure out stuff. The most important reason I'm going is for like the networking stuff. I want to talk to some of the developers, just walk around the vendor booth and see what's what. But namely, I want to go to the panels to support my friends that are putting them on. And I have a good friend that will be on some kind of like Jackbox stage too, which will be fun. I'm excited. That's pretty much it. I don't think there's a lot of other tech stuff we had to talk about. I know it's weird that I don't have a lot of tech to talk about when I just built the server case yesterday, but I posted like everything on Instagram. So if you want to see the build process of it, please feel free to run over to the hell? What's happening? What are you doing? What are you doing to me, buddy? Okay, fine. Run over to that Instagram. You'll see the whole, I posted like 15 pictures, a couple videos on there of the build process of moving the Stream PC into the new chassis. So go check that out. There's some cool stuff there. Also, the Twitter is a good place to follow as well. And this episode will be up on YouTube sometime in the next couple days. I think that's it. If you guys have any questions, as usual, throughout the day, feel free to drop any kind of tech questions to me. We will solve them post-haste. For the rest of the day, and by the way, we have a cutoff at what time? I think it's 1. Hang on a second. Give me a sec. I think I have a meeting at 1 today. Let me take a look. I have a couple different computers here I gotta check. It takes so long to unlock that smart card. I swear to God. They can't make that faster? Holy shit. Okay, let me look. Calendar 1 o'clock. 1, right? 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock. Okay. Okay. So we'll go until about 12:30 like usual. So we got a couple hours. We'll do some gaming. Let's take a look as we transition out of this show and what to play. I'm feeling COD today, but it's possibly Magic the Gathering again as well. I know those are two completely different games. But I don't know how big of a fan I am of COD. What do you call it? Solo. It's kind of funny. Let's do it. Let's play Call of Duty. I'm going to switch out of this mode. We'll get into our shooty mode. Okay. Let me switch the info and we'll get going. Thank you so much for hanging out. Again, if you have questions throughout the week or today, holler in the chat. We'll get to them. Multiplayer. Oh, is it? It's not arena, is it? Mode blackout. And hey, competitive. Trying to find the right tags. I'm getting a better idea, a better hang of the tags. They're just still a little bit weird, you know. Okay. Let's go to the lobby. We're gonna need a little bit of a different music for this guy. We listened to Wolfie yesterday. That was really good music. I want to check that out again.